This intro is a bit different than most of our other videos. This video is going to be a little bit different as well. Most weeks we end with our biggest build. We'll build up to it, collect all of our resources, and finish off the episode with it. This week's a little different. We're going to be starting with the biggest build of the video, and we're going to have plenty of other tiny builds scattered throughout. And that's because this week's episode is all about details. The world right now has some beautiful buildings, some of my most favorite builds that I've ever done in my over 10 years of playing Minecraft, but it's what's in between the buildings that's lacking. So today we're going to focus on just that. Hopefully create a nice, cohesive, put together little village. So I'm going to finish this tree, sit back, relax, and we'll get on with the builds. Today we're going to be focusing on 5 details to improve our world. 1, custom trees. 2, lighting. 3, a custom nether portal. 4, some terraforming. And 5, a little bit of landscaping. Our landscaping is going to include something new that I'm doing, and that's including people who engage with the videos in our world. I want to give back to those who take the time to comment, so I'll talk about it a little bit later in the video, but if you want to be included in a future video, go ahead and comment down below. And we are done with a detail that I've been wanting to put in for a long time, a nice custom tree. And we've got a few more custom trees we're going to be building today, but this one is our biggest. I modeled it after a walnut tree. Some of you may know that I am a avid woodworker in my free time outside of making YouTube videos. That is one of my big hobbies, and I've let my other hobbies kind of sneak into my YouTube videos here. I'm sure you've probably seen my series where I've been making builds inspired by monsters in the Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual. That's another big hobby, but woodworking is definitely my main one. It's just something that I love to do because it allows me to create and bring something into the world that didn't exist before. And walnut is my favorite wood to work with. So I figure if I'm using wood that was brought to me by cutting down trees, I might as well plant some trees while I'm at it. And we built a lot of stuff in this world made out of wood, so of course we had to plant a tree. I'm just lighting it up a little bit because outside of adding some foliage and different things to add a bit of life around the area here, lighting is another big task for today. So why not start here? And speaking on lighting, I have changed my mini HUD here so I can just do that and we can see where things can spawn. I've got a chest full of pumpkins, which we will turn into jack-o'-lanterns. We've got a lot of moss carpet to cover them up and some moss to dot around to not make it look so jarring with little, bumps along our grass. But I am loving the way that's looking. We're going to grab some of our other supplies to start on our light posts, and we'll take care of lighting right off the bat. And here is our first light post. So we'll just place these every so often along the path. Probably do another one right about here. But if we hit that, now we can see we're just a little bit safer. We're just going to keep doing that and building these along here. But I need more stripped oak for the bottoms there. Gonna go grab some of that. This village is the gift that keeps on giving. Nice, easy way to just collect a bunch of oak wood. Could fly over to the forest, but then we gotta deal with everything in between. These are already lined up for us, so we're just gonna grab a stack and we can keep on building. We spent a lot of time getting these builds going, and I just feel like we haven't quite done them justice with the landscape around them. So that is my goal for today. I've been taking time to reflect on doing this all again. We've been doing this now. This is week 14, so over 3 months posting weekly, and it just has felt so good. It's such a change from when I used to do this. YouTube used to be a place where you'd get as many videos out as you possibly could as fast as possible. Now it's become a little bit more chill because there's a lot more production value and time that people put into their videos. So that makes sense. But in it becoming a little bit more chill, it's become a lot more enjoyable. I remember when I used to do this, I would be stressing, putting a video out every other day, every couple days. The quality suffered from the quantity. Now being on a weekly schedule, I just don't feel that anymore. It really feels like you have time to create, you have time to put your ideas into motion, and it's just a lot more calming, which is fitting. I think I've mellowed out a little bit as I've aged. The high energy teenager is no more, but now I also can appreciate the fact that some people, they come to YouTube to laugh, to smile, but they also come to YouTube for a place to feel heard or a place to belong. So if watching these videos gives you a place to belong, then so be it. I want this to be a place for anybody that is looking for somewhere to belong. I think that was my original goal when I first started making YouTube videos. But I wasn't really sure like how to capture that. Whereas now I feel a lot more confident because I can relate to it sometimes. When I first started doing this again, it was a little isolating. But what surprised me and something that I kind of forgot about was just how quickly you can build community here. I've already met some really cool people that I feel like will end up forging great friendships with. And there's been so many positive comments over the last 14 videos, plus all the shorts and everything. It's just really reassuring. Stack one, on to the next. We'll be able to plant pumpkins for days. I don't know how many of these we're going to need. Definitely not as many as we're making, I'm sure. But we'll stock up. Our shears are just about done. Can we make it to the edge? It'll be a miracle. Yeah. Thankfully, we're right here. So the jack-o'-lanterns will just be used to do some underground lighting. As you can see, 2 out of our 3 copper golems have been blessed with the poppies from the iron golems. We love to see them getting along. Will we ever need this many pumpkin seeds? I don't think so. We might just let those despawn. I'm going to keep working on the lighting all around here, and then we're going to move on to our next little project. I changed my mind. I've been talking a lot about sightlines and framing builds and things, and as I started to place those lampposts, I just noticed they were blocking a lot of our sight lines. So I changed the plan up a little bit, and I would say let's wait until morning, but I lit this place up, but we should be pretty safe now. So I went with these little, they're almost like yard, what would you call those? Like landscape lights along the paths. And then around each main build, we have the lamppost just to kind of signify that, hey, something's here and you should pay attention to it. So just taking a quick look from the bridge, you can see they're placed all about. And then we've started to place our pumpkins around to light up the landscape as well. If we take a look at our light levels here, we can see that we are pretty well protected all around. Little spot over there, little spots over there. But my main thing was as we're walking the path, that we would be safe. Eventually, there's going to be builds going in these areas, so those things will get lit up. But for right now, for what it is working out great. Let's fly over to the walnut tree and the farmhouse and take a look at what we did here. So you can see we've got some lamps hanging from the tree. We lit up the house a little bit more, and we also added a lamppost here at the fork in the road, which of course, that's not right. I think if we move this back 1 block, we should be okay. Quick fix, did that work? Okay. Our zombie has come to ruin our fun, but that did close that off. And this goes all the way around to the grove. Here we are. So overall, we covered the area we needed to cover. Now you may be able to recognize a new path leading over to the distance here. Second thing I wanted to accomplish, or I guess third, we've done the tree. The third thing I wanted to accomplish today is a new nether portal. So you know that we put one back here just to get it far enough away from that one. This one links up to the roof of the nether, whereas this gets us below the roof. I could break some bedrock. There's been a recent new development in making that a lot easier, but I wouldn't mind having a separate nether portal just to go through. Right now, this area is not well lit. We're going to work on some terraforming after we get that nether portal built, and we'll light that up as well. But that nether portal is the next step, so I will sleep till morning now, and we will hop right on that. One of these things is not like the other. Oh, two. Hello. So I did a test in our creative world, and this should be far enough away to where we don't have to worry about linking up to that portal. The design of this nether portal is going to be kind of like a Fey crossing. The Feywild is like an extraordinary land filled with wild magic and different fauna and flora than the material plane. So it's a very natural plane as well. So I'm going to have some of that leaking out here. Again, similar to the Druid's Grove, kind of give it that sort of feel to make it look like it's leaking out into our world. We'll make it big and grand and just another point of interest. I think I want to just replace all this area here and have it kind of bleed out into the path as well. So let's get clearing. I want to thank you guys for the ongoing support on the Monster Manual series, the short series that I've been doing. That's been really, really fun to do, and the feedback's been great. So if you haven't checked that out yet, give it a look. We've got some fey creatures upcoming, so something to relate back to our portal here. It's going to feel nice to actually have a dedicated, decorated nether portal. I always have sort of used nether portals as just a tool, just something in my world to get me to the nether. I've never really taken the time to create a special spot for them. So, but that's kind of the goal for this series, right? We want to add a little spice to everything that we do, beautify everything. And I think so far we've been doing a great job of that. The gravel might feel a little out of place right now, but the goal is to make it look like this is kind of like a collapsed ruin. So some of it will have spilled out onto the ground, and hopefully the gravel will portray that. All right, that's a great starting point. So let's get this portal built, and then we'll take down our other one. All right, we took down our portal, and now we just need to light our new one and hope that it gets us where we need to go. We added a little bit of glass and some candles coming out of here to make it look like the magic is leaking out into the landscape. Let's light this thing up, take a look at it, throw some shaders on there. Ooh, yeah. All right, let's head in and make sure this linked up correctly. It should. Did in my testing at least. Okay, perfect. We are back in the nether, right at our portal. If everything looks familiar, we can go pass through, and we should end up right back at our new build. Where am I? Oh, that's not good. Okay. All right, let's fix that. I pulled out the calculator. I did a little math. I moved it from here to here. Let's see what this does. Okay, perfect. I think we're good. We'll do a couple more back and forths just to check. Okay. It all seemed to link up. I trust that that is good now. I think it is time to move on to step 4, which is terraforming. So we've got this cliffside here that I kind of dug into as I was flattening out the land. We also have this cliffside as well, and it goes around. Let's fly around there. This cliffside comes around here and kind of gradually teeters off. Same around here. And a little bit of this back here too. All that to say, I think we can clean it up, make it look a lot better. I want to have some more natural looking cliffs, and I want the faces just to be a little bit more sheer. So for one, mobs can't climb up, and 2, for our villagers specifically, they do not want to go down into that death valley down there. So we're going to grab some cliff making supplies, and we will get on with that. I have just finished up a lot of digging. The weekends are my time to play some more Minecraft, as most small Minecraft YouTubers do. You know, I work during the week, so I use my time on the weekend to grind. And we have a blank slate now. You can see this cliffside here, the cliffside here to our home, and then there, and going all the way around and stopping here for now. That's just our cutoff right now because we haven't flattened this all the way we wanted to. So this is not what the cliffs are going to look like. It's just a blank slate to work with. I've got my shulker box here, and this is just a collection of things that hopefully will help us make these cliffs look good. I'm going to try to just show an example of what I'm going for. First things first, we're definitely going to have some space between these walls. So I'm just going to throw a few torches down just so we don't have another mob spawning issue beneath our cliff sides here. So what I'm going for, let's find a flat face here. Use this one. So we'll probably be 3 back. Let's just something like this. Okay, this is a light example, I think, of what we're going for. It's going to come together once we add this whole wall. But I think that is a decent texturing there. And then the idea would be, let's see, we'll clear these out. The idea would be that we would kind of moss the top there to have it overhang a little bit. So let's do a quick fly up there and see what that ends up looking like. Yes, I think once we fill this whole thing up, that's going to look super natural, super cool. And we're going to repeat the same sort of pattern on all of these walls. And of course, it'll be more random. We're just kind of going a few blocks up, back, a few blocks up, and creating something new. We've got a little bit less than half done so far, but it's turning out really great. We're going to keep on going here, and then we will get this put together. Cliff 1 is done. It looks so good. We're going to clean this up and get on with cliff number 2. Check that off the list. I think this one looks even better than the first one. It just, I don't know, just from this angle, it looks so good. So now we are on to cliff 3. And with that, our 4th task is complete, and I am loving this. This is exactly what this area needed. We take a look from over here, we can see the cliffside on the house. The plan would be to kind of do all of this eventually. But right now I wanted something that was always, kind of facing us. So we're always coming down from this way, or we're looking over here. So if we take this and look from this side, we can see the cliffside going around there and wrapping around there. This was a little tedious, but it really wasn't too bad. And for how much I think it added, it was totally worth it. So I'm really proud of this. I think it's something that I really have never done in a Minecraft world. I typically just work with the terrain that I have, but the whole point of this series is to get better at what we do in the game. Our skills had gone stagnant over the many years of playing Minecraft, so I'm glad that we're starting to expand them a little bit more. With that said, I want to do one more custom tree, a medium-sized one, and then we're going to do quite a few small ones, and that's going to be our commenters that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. But before we do those small trees, I have 2 water sources I want to work on. We're going to have a little pond here with a waterfall going down, and then our infinite water source by our house, we'll turn that into a proper pond as well. So let's start working on this tree, and then we will move on to our water sources. I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to place this thing. Originally, I wanted to put it over by the park sign on the other side, but unfortunately, I think it kind of covers up our storehouse a little bit, that view from there. So we went with a different placement, but this is a nice open spot. I think it'll benefit from a tree like this. The first tree we built in today's episode was modeled after a walnut tree. This one is modeled after a medium-sized oak tree. Custom trees are another thing that I've really been working on. I think they add a ton to any Minecraft world. They are not easy. It's very hard to capture like the lightness and the life of a tree with a bunch of blocks. But I've been looking at some material for inspiration, been watching some videos and things. And I think we're definitely improving. And that's all I really care about is just getting a little bit better each time we do it. And that should be it. Beautiful. Nice little oak tree after we cross our bridge to kind of complement our blacksmith here. It's not in the way of anything. At least I don't think it is. Perfect. Another great addition there. So now let's work on our first water feature here. But we are getting a waterfall. I think it needs some love though over here. Add some boulders along that. And then how do we look from the top here? Got some foliage to go into the pond here, just to make it look a little bit more alive. We got some plants to go around. We got it all. So we're gonna start placing some things. I'm gonna get some firefly bushes around here, especially up at the top. And we'll grab a few more things as well, just to get this all wrapped up. I think we accomplished what I wanted to accomplish here. Just a nice little babbling brook coming down under the bridge. Yeah, it looks nice. It looks natural, and it'll be a great addition to our little park that we're gonna make right here. But let's work on our last water feature for today, and that is a little bit more simple. We've got this square right here, and I just don't want it to be a square. I just want it to be more round, look more like a pond, give it an abnormal shape. Get a little bit of seagrass in there. And we're just gonna add a little bit more yard here, a little bit more foliage around the pond. There we go. Something simple. We'll throw in a couple fish or maybe an axolotl, depending on what I'm feeling. But again, just another little piece of detail that was there since like episode 1. Want to make it something a little bit nicer than just a square. And we'll add a little bit of grass under this tree as well to make it look a little bit more natural and fitting in the landscape. Beautiful. A little bit of bone meal in the right spots goes a long way. So the last thing we are going to do, because that checks off our landscaping between creating the 2 water sources, the last custom tree, a little bit of bone meal. It's all looking good. So the last bit of landscaping that I want to do before I check off our last task on the list for today is I want to make a few more custom trees, but I'm not really grouping them into that category just because they're really tiny. They're more of a landscaping piece. And these trees, like I mentioned in the beginning, will be our commenter trees. So what that means is anybody that comments on my video will get a chance to have their name on one of these trees. I'm going to pick one person for every video, and at the either beginning or end of each episode, we will go ahead and make one of these little trees, get a hanging sign, and put your name on it. For today, we're doing something a little special, and that is just because these people have left comments before I even made this a thing. So they really didn't have an incentive. They were just giving me some great feedback or participating in the video, telling me they enjoyed a build, and I really appreciate that more than you know. So far, since our return, anybody who's commented on a video is going to get their name on a sign. So I'm going to make a custom tree for each of those people, and we will go ahead and get their names put up. And that is our last name. So we've got these things dotted all around the town here, from up here, all around our park, along the path. So while we're walking around, we can be reminded of those that have been with us since the start of our new beginning. I want to thank everybody who has commented so far. And if you want to see your name on one of these trees, go ahead and leave a comment on this video. And next episode, I will pick one random commenter and we'll make a tree, add it to a new area. Your name will be up there for all of eternity, forever in my forever world, just to show my appreciation for the engagement. With my last piece of chicken going down the hatch, and with all of the little details we have done today, I think that's going to be it. This has been an episode that I've been meaning to do for a while. We were creating some really beautiful builds, but the landscape around it was just a little lackluster. Not anymore. We have really started to put something beautiful together. Obviously, there's a ton more work to do, but that's the point of a forever world, right? It's forever. Little by little, we'll continue to make things better. But the work we got done today has really started to beautify everything around us. Let's head under the walnut tree to finish up the episode. It's weird having an episode where we did a bunch of little things. Granted, this tree isn't so little, but we don't have like that big set piece to look out on. That's okay though. I think these little things made a bigger difference than any build we could have made. I appreciate you watching all the way through. Next week, we'll be adding another new building to our town, this time a tavern. So, looking forward to that. And I hope you're looking forward to it too. But for now, that's all we got for this week. So, as the sun goes down, I'll end this episode like I end everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Until next time.